It's kind of a little bit creepy, but it's definitely interesting. Hello, welcome to part 2 of a 3-part series on the Forge Valley Railway line. Last time we went from Seymour Station to Ayton, which is just behind me, Forge Valley Station. Today we're going to head from Wykeham to Snainton. There was some infrastructure on the line that I just needed to show you between Ayton and Wykeham. There was 3 bridges, only one of them remains, so I'm going to show you that in a minute. But as you can see, there's this embankment here where the trains used to go along, and actually if you just look there you can actually see one of the bridges still intact. We're going to get a closer look of that now. This bridge behind me is called West Balk Bridge, and it's one of 3 that ran along this particular section of the track. The other 2 don't exist anymore, they've been demolished. The one at the end in particular is quite interesting because the A170 is a very busy road. That's the one I've just crossed to come and have a look at this. The 3rd bridge at the end used to cross the main road. Now obviously back in 1950 and before that, the A170 wasn't as busy, it wasn't such a big deal, but it did used to cross the main road before heading to Wykeham Station, and you can still see quite clearly the embankment where it ends and where the bridge would have started. Now I need to go and cross the road again and get back onto the side of the road, because that's where the station is. Now the Forge Valley line was only in existence for 68 years to passengers, and yet every single station building is still standing. Now this one at Wykeham that's as close as I can get to it, because actually it's a private residence and we literally can't get any closer. So we're just next to a camping site, a caravan site, but that is the station building, and as you can see it's immaculate. They were all built to a custom design by North Eastern Railway and like a uniform design, and lots of other stations in this area on other lines that we'll come to in future videos had the same style. So they really stand out, they're really obvious that they are railway station buildings, because they all pretty much look the same. Now I couldn't bring you to Wykeham without doing a little detour. Now we're just at a place the other side of the station building that I've just shown you, and we're heading to something that's called the Ice House. Now Wykeham is a bit of an interesting village. It's kind of owned by the Downey Estate, an area of land owned by the aristocracy essentially. Before they had fridges and things like that, they used to fill this ice house up with ice, obviously, from the lakes over at Wykeham Lakes each winter, and then they would put them into this building called the Ice House. I think it's fascinating. The only other one I've ever seen is in York. There's one in York, and it's kind of a little bit creepy, but it's definitely interesting. So we're walking along what was the track bed, and obviously the trains used to go underneath this bridge. This is Wykeham Bridge, just a little bit up from the ice house. In fact, if you look that way, the ice house is just through them trees over there. You can just about see them, and you'll notice that the bridge is quite wide, and the reason for that is when they originally built it, they built it thinking that there might be room or there might be need for a double line. It was only ever a single line, but they built it with the potential for it to have a double line. It never happened because basically the line never made enough money. It just wasn't profitable, and that's why it shut so early. So the bridge is behind me now, and I'm just going to keep walking, and that's going to get me to a village called Ruston, where again there's remnants of a couple of bits of old bridge basically. So we're going to find them, and then we'll move on to Brompton by Sawdon for the final station in this particular video today. Now I'm walking through what is quite obviously quite a deep cutting. Either side you can see it's quite steep banks, classic signs that there was a railway line here. Obviously they just cut straight through, keep it as flat as possible, and like I said earlier, there wasn't much gradient on this line. It's very much in quite a flat valley, so there wasn't any really big steep inclines, and actually I don't think there was that many cuttings, so this is probably one of the biggest cuttings on the line. After a short walk, you come to the village of Ruston, and here you can see where the two bridges were. At the end of the embankment was the East Bridge, and as you can see in the distance just there, there's the remains of the West Bridge. So this here is the remains of Westgate Bridge, and as you can see it's been repaired actually quite a bit at the bottom. It would have been a lot higher originally. You can actually see where the train line would have gone. You can see the embankment up there. So it would have come along there, that's Eastgate Bridge, come along here to Westgate Bridge, which is of what is left of Westgate Bridge. So I'm in the village of Brompton, the final stop on this particular video, and we are at the station of Sawdon. Now the village is called Brompton by Sawdon, although Sawdon is actually 2 miles north of where we are currently. So why are all the names wrong on this particular line? The first video we came across Forge Valley Station, which is actually in West Ayton, and this station is in Brompton and is actually called Sawdon Station. Well, the reason being, I think it was to avoid confusion. So the station in West Ayton was called Forge Valley because there's a station called Ayton or Great Ayton near Middlesbrough, and this station is called Sawdon because there's a Brompton near North Allerton. So I think that's probably why they called the station Sawdon, even though it's 2 miles south of Sawdon village. Now if I keep walking past the station house where the tracks would have been sort of behind what is now the modern day entrance, we actually come to the keeper's cottage, and there would have been a crossing actually over this road. You can get a really good view down here of the platform, look. Once again, this is they're now holiday cottages, so I can't actually go on the land, but that's a pretty good view. Once again, the station is in absolutely pristine condition, which is a testament to the way they built them. They were so solid that they all still survive to this day, and this one is one of the better ones actually. It looks absolutely fantastic, and you can see the platform's edge just there, look, right behind me. Where I'm stood right now, the tracks would have literally just carried straight on. So as you can see, Sawdon Station that serviced the village of Brompton was absolutely fantastic. It's still in great condition, and the people who run it as a B&B right now, or self-catering accommodation, are doing a really good job of maintaining that building. The platform's still there, it looks great. I just wanted to very quickly show you at the end of this video that opposite this, over the road, is this tiny little church. Look at that. And it is so awesome. I love this little place. Let's just have a quick little look in there. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and join me next time for the third and final part of the series, where we go from Snainton to Pickering on the old Forge Valley Railway.